And now our special series, America the Beautiful. It's our opportunity to spotlight the 10 most awe-inspiring places in the country.
And this morning we are at number 6, and NBC's Michelle Kosinski is at our mystery location. Michelle, good morning again.
Good morning, Meredith. And you know, one of the main parts of this, the beauty of where we are right now, is that it's not really limited to one place. That's because this morning we're celebrating America's amber waves of grain, these vast, gorgeous swaths of farmland that cover much of the Midwestern and Northwestern parts of this country. So right now we're in a wheat field in Stark County, North Dakota, just wheat as far as the eye can see. It was planted back in April, and in just a couple of hours this is all going to be harvested and then on its way to your table. But just being out here, you know, we found that the grandness of all this extends well beyond the landscape.
Far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain.
From the plains of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Montana to the rolling hills of Washington state, wheat crops, those amber waves of grain, grace 52 million acres of this country's landscape.
In one word, it's just awesome. You have to see it to believe it. You really do.
It was the view from Colorado's Pikes Peak that inspired poet Catherine Lee Bates to pen those words that became America the Beautiful.
Sweet America.
The simple elegance of this crop belies its importance. Just 1 acre will yield enough wheat to make 2,500 loaves of bread. And for farmers like North Dakota's Jay Elkin, working the land has its own rewards.
Well, look at my office. I love what I'm doing. My ancestors, my great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, they settled out here in this country. I went to school, had no intentions of farming. Came back to the farm to help out, and I've been here 27 years since.
But some of the truest beauty of this part of the country lies within its people. Bill Gross, also a native North Dakotan, was raised on a farm, but life took him in a different direction.
I fly for UPS Airlines now, but my heart never left the farming community, and I thought that there should be something done for family farmers that needed assistance.
So 2 years ago, Bill started an organization called Farm Rescue, dedicated not to giving money, but to physically helping farmers who've been sidelined by illness, injury, or in the case of the family that owns this farm outside Eureka, South Dakota, natural disaster.
August 24th, 2006, we had a tornado that came through our yard.
When the storm hit, Justin Metzger and his father took refuge in the family's barn.
The doors started sucking out on the shed, so we got underneath the tractor and we held on underneath the tractor. So we actually came up and looked around and everything was gone. The biggest thing was I didn't know if my wife and kids were home.
Thankfully, Justin's wife Jessica and 2 daughters, Madison and Kristen, were safe in town.
We got up here and it was breathtaking. I mean, you know, your house is no longer standing where it was. My living room rug was up in that tree. It was unbelievable.
The storm was the second blow for Justin's farm. They'd been hit by a drought the year prior.
Their equipment was destroyed, so they had no way of planting. So we came in with the equipment and the manpower and planted their crop, and now we're harvesting it.
And to get this kind of help during this year must have been just...
It was great, emotionally, financially. It was a big help all the way around.
Dad, come over here and eat.
This is our home. This is where we belong, and Farm Rescue came in and volunteers helped plant it, and we didn't have to worry about expenses of, you know, machinery and the fuel and whatnot. So it's a big relief for us.
The Metzgers are well into the process of rebuilding, and in fact they said that this year's harvest is one of the best they've had in years. If you want to hear more about Farm Rescue, you can go to our website at todayshow.com. So they were in South Dakota. Of course, we, as we said, are in Stark County, North Dakota, southwestern part of the state, with the man who makes all of this possible. And of course, you have to work this land. You don't just admire its beauty as we do. 5th generation farming this land. Why do you do this job, Jay?
I love what I do. Take a look around you. This is my office here. You couldn't paint this on a canvas.
You definitely have a view,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, farming is still one of the most dangerous jobs in the country, still one of the toughest jobs. This is hard work. So in those 5 generations, has anything really changed? What makes it different now than it was for your great-great-grandfather?
Probably I would say since I began my career in production agriculture in 1980, the greatest changes that have taken place are the costs of production. And yet the product that I sell, the price that I receive, has virtually remained unchanged. These costs to produce a bushel of wheat have gone up some 300% to 600%.
Wow. Can you still survive on this 10 years down the road?
That is, yes, you can. And that is why farming operations are becoming larger, more efficient. My operation, since I began farming, has tripled in size due to the fact just to pay for that equipment needed to run across these fields. The margins are so thin to producers on a per acre basis that it requires a lot of acres in order to make a living out here.
And I know that 1 acre will produce enough bread for a family of 4 for 10 years. Incredibly rich land and crops that come from here. And I know you're holding one of the heads of wheat, I guess is that what you would call it?
This is a head of wheat.
Show us how you separate what comes out of there. So we eat so much of this and so few of us have ever seen it up close.
Well, what they do, the combine will do, this will be run through the combine. And literally, the combine will rub
these little grains,
the kernels right out of the head.
And that's what it looks like. That's what it all comes from. Thanks so much, Jay Elkin, out here in North Dakota. Back to you, Matt and Meredith.
We get 2 thumbs up for this one, Michelle. We love that. What a beautiful shot, and
Gorgeous,
thanks to Jay as well. Really nice.
Just you know what? We live in a beautiful country. We really do.
No reason to fly out of this country. Got lots to see here. Coming up in our next half hour, controversial new film about Princess Diana.
But first, your local news and weather. We'll be right back.